Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show where we cut through the noise, sift through the sources, and really try to pull out the most compelling insights just for you. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of audiobooks. Specifically, what's topping the charts right now in two huge markets,
Yeah.
the USA and the UK.
Yeah, and our mission today isn't just about, listing off popular books. We want to help you understand the trends underneath, the why behind what's grabbing listeners, and basically give you a shortcut to knowing what's what in the audiobook world right now.
Exactly. And that's what I'm really curious about, too. What is driving this incredible boom in audiobooks? We're going to look at some specific titles and genres taking over headphones on both sides of the Atlantic, unpack some of those unique Audible originals, and yeah, definitely offer some practical tips for, maximizing your own listening.
So let's jump right in. The growth here, it's been kind of phenomenal, hasn't it? This isn't just a flash in the pan. Sales have shown double-digit growth for, over 10 years now? It's actually quite remarkable, and the sheer volume tells a story, too. In 2023 alone, something like over 70,000 new audiobooks were published. That's just an astonishing amount of new listening hitting the market.
Wow. And when you got volume and market dominance, you really have to mention Audible, right? Being Amazon-owned, they clearly use their exclusives in that massive library. But beyond just the size, what makes it so sticky for listeners?
Well, I think it taps right into the core appeal, Audiobooks just fit so perfectly into our busy modern lives. Commuting, working out, even just winding down at home. They slot right in. And what's really interesting now is the production quality. Top narrators, sometimes full cast productions. It's not just someone reading anymore. Some of these feel more like intricate radio plays. That creates a whole different level of immersion.
Right. So this explosion in both availability and, like you said, production quality means there's this huge world of diverse stories and knowledge that's just easier to access than ever. It lets you engage with content totally on your own terms. It really does open up new ways to experience stories.
Okay, so that massive growth leads us straight to the core question. What are people actually listening to? Let's kick things off with the US. What are American ears tuning into? Our sources suggest it's typically a mix: thrillers, self-help, those big celebrity memoirs, fantasy. Like in thrillers, The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. That seems to be a perennial chart topper. A lot of that must be the narration, right? Jack Hawkins and Louise Brealey are mentioned as being chilling. And The Girl on the Train, too, still pulling people in with that twisty plot and gripping narration.
Definitely. And on the self-help side, Atomic Habits by James Clear is almost always there. He narrates it himself, which I think adds something. It's become the go-to for positive change for so many.
Yeah.
And celebrity memoirs, yeah, they're massive in the U.S. Becoming by Michelle Obama, she narrates it. It's very intimate, very inspiring. And Matthew McConaughey's Greenlights, that one really stands out, doesn't it? His voice, his whole storytelling style is just unique.
Yeah, absolutely. And for fantasy and sci-fi, Project Hail Mary by Andy Ray Porter's narration apparently makes that space adventure feel almost visual.
Yeah.
And you can't talk U.S. audiobooks without mentioning Harry Potter at the J.K. Rowling series, but specifically Jim Dale's narration in the U.S., it's legendary. To find those characters for a whole generation. Oh, in True Crime, I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara, that real-life hunt for the Golden State Killer. Pretty chilling stuff.
It really is a diverse list in the U.S.
It really is.
Yeah.
So looking at that mix, it feels like there's genuinely something for everyone.
Yeah.
Whether you want thrills or personal growth or just to escape into another world, the U.S. charts offer a great starting point.
For sure. Okay, so let's hop across the pond. What about the UK? There's definitely overlap, but British listeners have some distinct preferences, too. For instance, British mysteries and crime are huge. The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, that cozy crime series, is massively popular, and Leslie Manville narrates it brilliantly. It's a great example of a specific subgenre really hitting the mark. And The Cuckoo's Calling, Robert Galbraith, who we know is J.K. Rowling. Robert Glenister's narration there is a real fan favorite. People love his voice for that series.
And it's interesting, isn't it, the emphasis maybe more on literary fiction in the UK charts, like Normal People by Sally Rooney. The narration by Aoife McMahon is supposed to really capture that subtlety, that emotional depth. And Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart, the Booker Prize winner. Angus King narrates that, bringing that powerful story to life. It does highlight maybe a slight difference in what's considered a mainstream bestseller in each place.
Absolutely. And comedians' memoirs, they do really well in the UK, too. This Much Is True by Miriam Margolyes. Her own narration just shines with wit and, well, sheer candor. It's fantastic. Barack Obama's A Promised Land, popular everywhere, of course, but maybe especially noted in the UK for its broader global perspective. And in fantasy and classics, his Dark Materials by Philip Pullman has that amazing full cast audio version, even with Pullman himself narrating parts. And you still see classics like Pride and Prejudice doing well, especially versions like the one Rosamund Pike narrated. Oh, and nonfiction Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. It's a global phenomenon, but seems particularly popular with UK listeners. Shows a real appetite for those big picture history and philosophy books.
That is fascinating. How these geographical tastes aren't just about genre, but maybe reflect something deeper. The U.S. leaning towards self-help maybe speaks to that individual pursuit of success, while the UK's love for literary fiction and cozy mysteries hints at something else, valuing shared stories, character depth. It's interesting. And this comparison, for you listening, it might just inspire you to try a genre or an author you wouldn't normally pick up, seeing how tastes differ. Now, one of Audible's really big advantages, something that sets them apart, is their originals. This is exclusive stuff, right? Content you just can't get anywhere else. Why are they pushing these so hard?
Well, it's definitely strategic. It creates a unique content bubble, differentiates them massively from libraries or other services, and it lets them foster talent specifically for audio-first storytelling. Some of the big hits from the originals catalog, The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. That's a huge star-studded full cast production. Sounds amazing practically an audio movie. There's also Evil Has a Name, that true crime docuseries about the Golden State Killer, which ties back to what we mentioned earlier. And for sci-fi fans, John Scalzi's The Dispatcher, narrated by Zachary Quinton. That's a really popular novella.
Right. And we shouldn't forget the Great Courses series either. Audible offers those too, right? Which is brilliant for anyone who loves learning. Access to university-level lectures on all sorts of topics right there in your headphones.
Exactly. These exclusives, they often offer experiences that feel, well, different, more immersive, more educational sometimes. They can feel more like those cinematic productions or, lectures rather than just a standard audiobook. Definitely worth checking out if you want something unique. So, pulling it all together, it is really fascinating to see those contrasting tastes laid out. Americans leaning towards self-improvement, big blockbuster thrillers, UK listeners maybe more towards literary fiction, cozy mysteries, witty memoirs. It paints a picture of two distinct but equally, hungry listening cultures.
And the narration style seems critical too, doesn't it? UK listeners often preferring British narrators, which makes total sense. Whereas US listeners seem quite drawn to celebrity voices or really dynamic, almost performance-like reads. It completely changes the feel of the book.
Yeah, it really does. And there's another really important trend emerging in both markets, which is great to see. That's the significant rise in diverse voices. More authors, more narrators from different backgrounds, telling stories that reflect a much wider range of experiences. And this isn't just about, ticking boxes. It's genuinely enriching the market, broadening the types of stories being told and the perspectives offered. Understanding this helps you see the bigger picture in audio content, and maybe it encourages you to actively seek out some of those different voices in your own listening.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Some practical advice, whether you're new to Audible or you've been using it for years. First up, use those credits wisely. Makes sense to save them for the more expensive books, or the really long ones, right? Get more value. Second, don't sleep on the Plus catalog. That's the collection of free listens included with your subscription. There's a ton of stuff in there already waiting for you.
Absolutely. And always, always sample before you buy. Listen to that preview. The narrator's style can honestly make or break the whole experience, even if the book itself is supposed to be amazing. And play around with the speed controls. You can adjust the playback speed faster for nonfiction sometimes, or maybe slow it down to really savor a complex novel. Find what works for you.
Good point. And lastly, maybe consider leaving reviews. That feedback is actually super helpful for authors and narrators. It helps other listeners find great books, and it genuinely supports the creators. So yeah, these are just a few actionable tips to help you optimize your listening time, discover stuff efficiently, and get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, maybe a personal favorite recommendation. If you're looking for a place to start your own deep dive, for me, I'd have to echo Becoming by Michelle Obama. Her narration is just so warm, so genuine. It makes her story incredibly powerful and intimate.
Good choice. For me, I think I'd pick The Thursday Murder Club. Richard Osman's book, it's just so clever, it's properly funny, and Leslie Manville's narration is absolutely spot on. Just a pure joy to listen to. And yeah, these are just our personal picks, but hopefully they give you a great starting point or maybe nudge you towards something new.
Definitely. So here's a final thought to leave you with. As this audio technology keeps evolving, we're seeing more sophisticated sound design, more full-cast productions. How might this changing medium fundamentally alter how stories are not just consumed, but actually created? Could we see more authors writing specifically for the ear first, thinking about sound from the outset?
That's a fascinating question, and perhaps a good prompt for you, the listener. Maybe take a moment to think about your own listening habits. How might what we've talked about today, the trends, the differences, the tech, maybe prompt you to explore a new genre, or discover a different narrator, or even just reconsider the whole format and how you engage with stories in this audio age? Lots to think about.